Bronwyn Lund from BronHolm Tours here. I'm doing this film today for a person called Marilyn who lives in Utah in the US, and I am doing this film of a farm today on Bornholm, and Marilyn's ancestors actually emigrated from this farm in the 1850s, I think, and she has actually specifically asked me to come and make this film of the farm. So I hope you enjoy the tour. It's quite windy today, although very nice and sunny, so we should get some great footage. And before I start the tour of the property, I just wanted to point out directly in front of us is a mound with trees growing out of it, and that is actually a burial mound, and that has probably been there for about 5,000 years. And I just wanted to point that out because I think it's very interesting to understand just how long people have been living on Bornholm and using the land to make their living. Now I'm going to turn around slowly and we're going to walk into this wonderful winter sunshine and down along the driveway that goes into the farm. Now, the farm originally, the first registration of the farm, there's probably been a farm on this site for many thousands of years, but the farm was officially registered as the 32nd owned farm, or the 32nd selvejergård, as it's called in Danish, in 1598. So there was probably people farming on here before then. There's actually evidence that dates back about 10,000 years on Bornholm of people farming and using the land for their benefit, particularly the forests. And so the farm was owned at that time by Jesper Munk, and the farm is called Munkegård, or Monk's Farm. And we're just going to turn to the left here before we go into the gorge, because I just want to show you the front of the house, because it's actually quite lovely. And on the right hand side here, and the road that we're walking down now, when the farm was in production, there were cows here on this part of the farm. So this was a cow paddock. And I just want to go around the back of the barn here and go in and have a look at the front yard, because if you sort of look at the house from the front, then when we go inside the house, you'll get a better feel for where we are in the position of the house. So now we're just going around the back between the two barns. Just going to slip in round the side here. So this is the end of the house here. And on this side of the house was actually where the horses were kept. So this was a big horse paddock. If we look over the top of the hedge, we actually have a view out to the sea. It's about an 800 metre walk down to the sea, so it's very close. And this is the front of the house. So we'll go back around into the gore, or the courtyard of the house, which is formed by the back of the house and the two outbuildings, the two barns, and have a look at that part of the house before we go inside and have a look at the wonderful interior. So the Monk family, who owned this farm for about 300 years, died out or emigrated by 1872. So in 1872, when the last of the monks died, the farm was actually sold to the Kuffels. And they owned the farm for the next 100 or so years. And then about 20 years ago, Sigrid and Lars Jakob, you can see their names up there, they actually decided to buy this property as a retirement property after they had given their farms to their sons to take over. So then they actually completely refurbished the house. They haven't changed any of the room setups, so the rooms are still very much the same. But they have done a wonderful job of renovating the house. So let's go in and have a look. As you can see, there's two entrances. The formal entrance is over here on the left, and we'll go in and have a look at that. And the not so formal or the everyday entrance is here on the right. And this is the entrance that Lars Jakob uses most of the time. Back in the day, it was very important to have a formal and informal entrance, depending on who was visiting you. So this is just a lovely little entryway here, and we have a bedroom off to the right here, and this just goes into other bedrooms and the bathroom, which we can have a quick look in. It's a lovely big light bathroom with a view out to the water or out to the garden. And then we come into the main part of the house. So this is the library. Just wanted to point out the absolutely beautiful Swedish wood stove here in the corner that's doing a lovely job of warming up the house. And here we have the formal living room, and an excellent example of a Bornholm clock directly in front of us. And the formal living room opens out both onto the terrace, which is to our right hand side here out the windows, and this wonderful garden room where you can imagine spending a lot of lovely hours enjoying yourself out here reading a book or catching up with friends. And the garden room also leads off the formal dining room. And Lars Jakob was just telling me that the table and chairs over here were a gift to his parents when they married in 1934. From his grandparents. And it was often in those days that when you got married, you were given sets of furniture as part of your wedding present. And here we have another type of living room, the television room, I guess we'd call it. And this is actually used as a very nice guest area. So guests can come here and stay, and they can actually have their own kitchen. and then there's 2 rooms here, as well as an ensuite bathroom. And actually, in the history of the farm, there has often been widows. So 3 times there was a widow left because the farmer husband had obviously died. And when that happened, the widow would hire a farm manager to look after the farm, and the farm manager often had a family. And the family would live here. This was the family's quarters, and the widow lived in the rest of the house. So the widow had the whole house to herself, and the farm manager's family had that small end of the house to live in. That's how things were back in those days. And here we have this magnificent formal entry and the wonderful winding staircase. And upstairs there's just more bedrooms and a bathroom, which is very similar to the bedrooms and the bathrooms we've just seen. We'll finish off in the kitchen. And here we have the kitchen leading out onto the terrace. It's a lovely light-filled kitchen. And Lars Jakob doing his work in the corner there on the computer. So that was a tour of the farm of Munkegård, or Monk's Farm. I hope you enjoyed the tour. I'm going to be doing more tours of old buildings and historical places on Bornholm and other places. So please subscribe, and then you'll be able to be notified of new films that come out. I really hope you enjoyed this tour. This is Bronwyn Lund from BronHolm Tours, signing off. Bye for now.